Hi, my name is Ujjwal, Section B, and I'd be talking about the urban housing crisis in India. What are the policies available, and what are the future solutions that needs to be addressed? So, the rapid urbanization that we are experiencing in India is due to the boom in IT sector, especially because most of these IT hubs are located in the urban centers such as Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, etc. And there is a huge amount of deficit in housing that needs to be addressed for the better development of the nation. Um, so, uh, so how bad is it? So it's like 50% of the Indians will live in cities by 2050 is an estimation, and there is currently a deficit of 19 million units, and 30% of the urban dwellers also live in slums. So the real question is, are these policies sufficient? So um, if you look at the current policies, one is PMAYU, that's the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which promises to provide housing for all. We have the Smart Cities Mission, we have the ARHC, we have the slum redevelopment. So let's just look at each one of them quickly. So the first one, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, is aimed at providing affordable housing, and it especially targets the economically weaker sections and the lower income groups. And currently, they have already sanctioned 1.22 crore homes, and 76 lakh of these have been completed. And they provide a subsidy of up to 2.67 lakh per home. So the next one is Smart Cities Mission. Under the Smart Cities Mission, they aim to develop 100 smart cities, which would be focusing on the infrastructure and on a higher quality of infrastructure. And there are close to 6,500 projects worth 2 crores under a scheme. And the main preference is for priority is for digital governance and sustainability. The next one is affordable rental housing complexes. So this looks at all the migrant workers who require a rented place to stay, and there are pilot projects have been launched in 8 cities, and it basically provides an incentives for the private developers, and the targeted beneficiary, like we just spoke, was for the migrants and the urban poor. The last one is the redevelopment and land pooling policy. So here, the aim of the policy is to improve the living conditions in slum, and there has been success in Ahmedabad, where and there's an outgoing project for Dharavi redevelopment as well. But the only problem is the landowners resist because there is definitely a fear of displacement among the slum dwellers, because during the redevelopment, the slum dwellers definitely have to move somewhere else. So the way to move forward with this policy would be to address resistance and alleviate the fears of the residents, and that would in turn help improve the quality of living of those people. So these are not the only housing related policies in India, but these four I felt were the most relevant ones. Now, if you compare the India's policies with the government models, if you look at Singapore, they have public housing, which covers almost 80% of the population. If you look at Germany, they have very strong tenant rights. And if you look at Japan, they use vertical housing for high density developments, right? So this could show India on how we can move forward with respect to the urban population management, housing management. So based on this, the few policy recommendations are PMAY can be expanded for another 5 years. Another 10 years of incentives for private sector housing would help. And townships should focus on vertical housing, and rental laws should encourage cooperative housing, right? And close to 20 years might take to develop such a township. So it is definitely a long-term plan. To conclude, India is facing significant housing challenge. It is just going to get worse as more and more migrant workers and population moves towards the urban centers or the cities. And existing policies do show promise, but they have to have better implementation, and definitely new strategies in place to to ensure that these policies work, and a multi-pronged approach with collaboration of builders and government and the residents and the landowners would be required to implement these policies successfully, and hence improve the urban housing situation in India. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much.